Welcome to this edition of Cardinal Clips. We're going to interview a couple of new school board members for District 347, a couple of graduates of Willmar Public Schools who've now come back to do public service. We appreciate that. Our initial guest today is Liz VanDerBill. Liz, welcome. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Now, you're a graduate of Willmar Senior High School. What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 1992.
And my assumption is that you've had an interesting career since that time. Can you tell us a little bit about where you went to college and what you've been doing since that time?
Sure. After Willmar Public Schools, I went to Ridgewater for 2 years and then transferred to Concordia College in Moorhead, Minnesota. Following that, I was a manager for Target and then a store manager for Target and moved around every 6 to 9 months until I moved back to Willmar about 10 years ago. And I currently work at Christensen & Associates as their marketing director. So I do local, regional, and national marketing.
Okay. Well, that sounds like an exciting job to have.
Much more exciting than the accounting portion, I'm sure.
When you think about being on the board, what do you think the biggest challenge is going to be for you as a new member of the school board at Willmar?
I think the first challenge will be catching up on all of the past history and finding out why we've done things in certain ways, and then taking that knowledge and helping propel us forward. You went to a workshop this past weekend. Was there any big surprises that you learned at the MSBA workshop? I think the most interesting thing at the workshop was just seeing the large demographics. I sat with somebody who had 18 kids in their graduating class to schools that are our size and everything in between. Yeah, there's a significant difference in schools throughout Minnesota. So when you first decided to run for the board, what did your daughters say about that? Well, I have a 5-year-old, and she was really excited. She would practice on my iPhone. She would be making little commercials. After I was elected, she was really excited, and her response was asking me what I won, what the prize was. And when I told her that I had the opportunity to attend more meetings, she was questioning my sanity and was wondering if I really knew that when I got into this. What made you decide to run for the board? I think public education is our best opportunity to really help our children, and I wanted to be part of that. Any kind of ideas on what you want to see accomplished in your next 4 years, since that's how long your term is? I would like to see our focus and priority school move up the rankings. If I remember correctly, you've worked on 2 or 3 different operating levy referendums, and in fact, the last one you were the chairperson, weren't you? Yes, that is correct. And we won both those, didn't we? We did. We did. It was good, and the last one was overwhelmingly. It was great to see the support of our community. Yeah, I remember being in this room that night when we got the results back. It was pretty amazing, wasn't it? Yes, we were not expecting that large of a turnout since it was a non-presidential election, so that was amazing. That was very great. I think we were all a little bit worried when we saw the huge numbers show up to vote. I did hear some of those comments during the day, and I kept telling people that morning my daughter had come with me to vote because I think it's important that she sees the process. And I had a retired woman stop and ask Abby, my daughter, if her mommy had voted yes, because she had voted yes because she wanted to do what was right for our kids. So when I saw that type of just free giving out of information, I was very hopeful.
As a school board, you're kind of a generalist, but there are certain committees and stuff that you might be able to be on that maybe there's some background that you have or specialty that you have that you would like to share with others. Have you thought about that?
I have. I'm really interested in the early childhood education, making sure that our kids are ready for school when they walk in the building. I think that is imperative for our success.
I don't disagree with that. It lays the foundation for a lot of really good things further down the road.
Yes, it does. And it's a big challenge in our community. We have a very diverse population, both financially and with experience. And I think that helping narrow that margin will be very significant.
Well, Liz, I hope you enjoy your first term on the board.
Thank you, Jerry. I caught the term part. I've heard people being on the school for 20, 30, 40 years, so thank you for that.
I think that since I've been here, we've had there will be no board members on the board that hired me 5 years ago. So it's a compliment that we had enough people run for the board that it was a competitive race. So welcome aboard. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you very much.
And we're here with Jackie Saulsbury, who is a newly elected board member at Willmar. Jackie, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So as you get ready to be sworn in, get sworn in, sign away your life to be a board member, what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's been going really well so far. A little overwhelming with all of the meetings and meeting different people, and having some additional training through the MSBA also. But it's going well, and I'm excited to kind of jump in and start and be official.
What was it that made you decide to run for the board?
Well, right now for me, it was a great opportunity and good timing. I have 2 children, one that's already in the school system and one that will be. And with my current position through my employer and with family, it just turned out to be a perfect match where I could get the support I needed, both personally and professionally, to be able to be a part of something like this. And so I went for it, and it paid off.
Can you tell us a little bit about what your career is and where you work now?
Right now, I am currently employed at Copperleaf Senior Living, which is an assisted living out by the radio station, and I am the Director of Health Services there. So being a registered nurse, I take care of the residents and medication and a lot of their healthcare needs.
You're a graduate of Willmar Senior High School too. What year?
2001.
And after high school, where did you go to college?
I actually started off at St. Olaf in Northfield and then decided to come back to Willmar. It was just a little overwhelming for what I thought I was doing. I thought I was more independent than I was, but I decided to come home and do Ridgewater for a couple of years, got my AA, and then transferred to St. Cloud State University and obtained my bachelor's in nursing at that time. Mm-hmm.
How many children do you have?
I have 2. I have a 10-year-old who's a 4th grader at Roosevelt and a 2-year-old, and they're both girls.
Your husband lives and works here in town too?
Yep, he is a 98 graduate, Mike Saulsbury, and he is employed here too. He works at Genio in the shipping department, and we've both been here ever since.
A year from now, when you look back, what do you hope has been accomplished in a year during your initial year on the board?
I think initially, it's going to be learning all of the different aspects of being a board member. When I went to those conferences, and we'll do additional work with that, I'm finding there's a lot of aspects about being a board member. It's not just sitting around this table, making decisions at whim. It's really being educated and being thorough with all of your decision making and looking at the full picture, not only, socially and demographically, what it's going to do to all of our children, K through 12, but also financially and to our constituents of our county. And so it's really important for me to try to get a grasp on all that, and I think it will take me the full year to kind of really dive in and get involved and really try to learn all of that.
As you went through the training, was there any big surprises that you found out?
I was really happy to see how many were new board members and kind of all felt the same way, a little skittish. It's just kind of scary to think. It's so overwhelming. They talk about these books, of statutes and all of these things that are very thick, and just what you need to know and how important it is and how important your role is, because you have people's prize, I don't want to say possessions, but they're children. You are making decisions that directly affect them, and so it is very important that we take this job seriously and really look at the overall impact that we're going to make here.
And just based on what you know about the district, what do you think the biggest challenge for the district is going to be the next year or 2 or 3?
I think we've kind of tackled the first one being with the SIG grant and the achievement gap that we've seen that we need to narrow. But beyond that, it would be that maintenance of that and making sure that without this grant and without these things in place, that we are following up and keeping up with those things that have been shown to work. I'm looking forward to seeing the results, coming up with how that's going and what our test scores look like. But then also to lay the foundation for these kids that are entering kindergarten, and as they'll be our future, and knowing that we're preparing them the best we can. I think we're going to continue to change. I think we're going to continue to grow. We have great opportunities here for people looking for jobs with Midwest, Genio. We have big employers, and so it's important that we keep up with that and know that we're going to be able to keep that going forever.
One of the big things was kind of a community-driven impetus, but the iPad initiative this year at the senior high. Mm-hmm. Any thoughts on that?
I think it's wonderful. I've heard nothing but good things. I think it is so nice that they can have access to so many different things on that. My brother's a senior at the high school, and so I've seen how it directly affects someone, and in their house they're able to use it. I can see some barriers, obviously, but I think it also is a great way for people who might not have access like that to get access, and to have that provided is such a wonderful thing. And speaking with Paul Schmitz and learning some things that he has seen too, it just looks like it's going to be spreading into other grades too because of the benefit and how adaptable it can be. I'm a big supporter. I love technology. I grew up with it. I have an iPad. I'm comfortable. I love it. And I think when you really are comfortable and you have that knowledge base, you can do a lot more than you think.
This is when you're first starting, so in a year from now we'll run this tape again just to see what you think and go from there, okay? I mean, what do you think at the end of the day you want people to remember you as a board member?
I want people to remember my time on the board as being positive. I hope that I can really follow through with the connection with the people and to be that voice and to make sure that I'm being an advocate for concerns and questions. But also, you know, you're not going to make everyone happy. You're going to make tough decisions, and I've learned that through the conferences, talking with superintendents, with former board members, just how tough that can be. It can be your neighbor, it can be your friend, and you're going to affect their livelihood. So, but if you know that you are well educated in the decisions you made, and it is for the greater good, I think as long as I am comfortable and happy with the decision I made, I hope that everyone else would be too and support that, knowing that I tried to make the best decision.
How do your kids feel about having Mom on the school board?
Well, my oldest, Eden, is very supportive. It's been actually really fun because she gets it, and she thinks it's pretty cool that I have something to do with the school. Just because I've taken such a healthcare track, to come back to education is fun. And she's happy. I think it's such a positive influence to show her how you can be involved in your community and make a difference and be that voice for people. And she's really excited about that. My 2-year-old, she's just make it home for bath time.
Jackie, I want to say thanks for taking the time to sit down with me and allowing yourself to be interviewed on Cardinal Clips. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it too.
I hope you enjoyed meeting Willmar Public Schools' 2 new board members, Liz VanDerBill and Jackie Saulsbury. And remember, students in our classrooms today can be our new board members in 2022.